Live? We're live. What's up, Cracker Jacks? We're in an echoey office. What's going on, everybody? Someone said, when is it going to start? Well, it started now, so you can relax, Dutch master. Talking Giants, day 2, training camp practice recap. We were there, had a good time. Giants worked on third down. Research Rick actually asked a question. Said Duggan said there's a film blackout period during practice. Is there a public announcement? Are you in compliance? How is it enforced? So it's for the media members. They haven't said anything to just regular old fans like us. In fact, some of the media guys are like, you guys are going to have a freaking monopoly on this because we're not allowed to do it. So far they haven't said anything to us. So I hope they don't.
No.
So what's going on, everybody? We got people in the chat. I got Mr. Brownstone gang. Entertainer's not going to come with us today because someone said it's a little laggy. Audio sounds good, but video is laggy. Entertainer's not with us today because we had so much to do after practice that we just told him next week we were going to do a live stream with him.
Awesome. Cannot wait to see him. Saw him today. He was a lot of fun.
Audio, yeah. He was live streaming practice, so.
Yeah, he was.
Sorry if it's a little laggy, but the audio's good.
Yeah, we will work on that. We got nine more of these to continue to get it right.
Yeah, and we got to do a podcast after this.
Yes, we do.
All right, we'll get into practice. They worked on third down.
Third down.
Where do you want to start with? We could start with Daniel Jones in the offense, or
I feel bad that the majority of my notes from the first 2 days is very much centered around the offense, but it is kind of now. That's actually not totally true because I have some, there's some things to say about Aaron Robertson and Cordell Flott got some targets today. The majority of my thoughts are centered around the offense and just being like, whoa, we are seeing it.
Yeah, and it's glorified 7-on-7, and defense is just harder to watch because defense is reacting, where the offense is like, okay, I could see where these 3 guys went.
Yeah.
Where defense, it's what are they doing? But I will say before we get into some of the offensive recap, which offense makes the money. So we're going to talk about the offense and Daniel Jones. When they were in man coverage on those third and shorts, they looked good. Like the Giants' offense did its best when stretching the field.
Yeah.
When they were going for those quick hitters, like Aaron Robinson was on those dudes. Adoree Jackson was on those dudes.
Yes.
So
Darnay Holmes.
Yeah, so that's when the offense looked its best, was when they were stretching it out, and we'll talk all about that. But in the quick game, that's where they looked a little sloppy. That's actually where essentially all of Daniel Jones' true incompletions. I had him at let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 incompletions. 2 were drops. One. And like the 5 were shorter throws.
Yeah.
It was like a quick whip route or a slant where Aaron Robinson was on Wandel Robinson.
There's been some miscommunication between Wandel Robinson and Daniel Jones through the first 2 days, whether it is on like these bubble screens where like an outside wide receiver is setting a pick, or it's a quick out route. I don't even know if it's an out route. It's kind of just the
whip route where it's a slant. You show a slant and then you whip back out.
Yeah, I mean you're not even getting any kind of depth on the route. So there's been a few miscommunication where Wandel's not turning his head in time, or Daniel Jones is. There's been miscommunication there between Wandel and Daniel Jones. So that's disrupted the quick game and how that's operated the first 2 days. But glad they're going through it now.
Well, let's talk about Wandel, because Wandel was a big topic of conversation yesterday. He looked really good. They were using him a ton, and he looked good in some moments as well. But here is an issue with the Wandel Robinson that showed up on his film coming out of Kentucky, and it showed true today, is that Wandel's got to get better at route running in the quick game, because guys, this isn't Kentucky, man. You're not just going to be way more athletic than everybody.
Yeah.
When he was on deeper routes or in the one-on-one drills. When he's got that speed and momentum, he knows how to get separation deep. But in the quick game, he's really got to work on route cell, getting his footwork right, because guys are on him. Aaron Robinson was
really making it
on
methodical.
Yeah. So he's got to get better in the quick game, those regular route runnings versus man coverage, versus zone, deeper concepts versus man. He's able to get open. But those quick games, which is, when you're playing a guy like defense like Wink Martindale's and it's 3rd and 4, well, guess what? They're going to send the house and they're going to man up on your ass, and you're going to have to get open on that slant.
Yeah.
Okay. You're not gonna find a hole in the zone. You just got to beat your guy, and you got to beat him quick, and that's the things Wandel Robinson's got to get better at.
Yep. I'm with you.
as far as the offense overall, looked really sloppy to start. In fact, it was they were like 8 for 16 or like through that time period. Kenny Galladay had a drop on a really nice play. I don't want to get too technical.
Julian Love poked the ball out too. He was a safety. I think he had 2 drops today.
Yeah, Galladay had 2 drops. That was the big one where, talking people were talking about Julian Love. People were like, oh, well, it was Julian Love popped it out. Well, Kenny Galladay still got to hold on to that.
You still have to hold on to the ball. But, I mean, in training camp, the Giants are playing the Giants, so you want to put in at the positive too.
Yeah, I'm not stressing about Galladay drops. I really am not, even though he had a drop yesterday. There is somebody, Darius Slayton, I want to talk about his drops, and I am going to stress those. Because Galladay's got a body of work of not being a guy that drops a lot of balls.
Yeah.
But I like what I saw the offensive scheme when they were opening the downfield. Galladay had a nice big play on a crosser, and that play where the Julian Love popped it out, that was a high-low read called smash. That's something that Pat Shurmur ran a lot with Daniel Jones. I liked it. And you had Wandel on the backside post, and then you had the running back on an angle route, which is something that I remember Dan Snyder was freaking out on Pat Shurmur for it in 2019, even though Pat Shurmur did it here and there. Well, that never happened with Jason Garrett at all. Yeah. So I like that. So where it's like, hey, your check down could be a nice chunk play too, but we're trying to attack deep on this post corner by Kenny Galladay, where you fake inside and then go back outside. So
it's like routes are playing off of each other, right?
Yeah.
Which that was a critique of the Garrett offense, is that the routes just didn't seem to play off of each other. Like things were just happening independently and from each other. So.
Yeah. So there was some good stuff when they were stretching the ball down the field. That's what you saw the best out of the offense. So the offense looked very sloppy. And even like I said, Jones had missed some guys on some of the short throws. But at the end, they finished off strong. Yeah. Where I had Jones at 1, 2, 3, 5, 9. He completed 9 out of his last 10 passes after at one point being 8 for 16, I think, or 50%. So it was like, ooh, sloppy day. But they did finish strong, so you like seeing that. Even Slayton got a play in there. Darius Slayton, though, like the drops are an issue. He had a 10.1% drop rate last year.
It was not good, and even 2020 there was some drop issues there too.
But at least in 2020 he led the team in yards. He was their wide receiver 1.
Yeah,
this past year, even when guys were down, he was not producing. Yeah. Besides Broncos game and Washington game where a drop showed up the most. So I know I've been someone who's been pissed at some of the stuff about Darius Slayton getting cut, which I still don't think is going to happen. He is getting the most reps after that trio of Galladay, Toney, and Wandale. He's getting the most.
There's somebody who's complicating the conversation, though.
Richie James is getting the second most, and actually David Sills is getting a couple here and there in his number 13 jersey. But the Slayton drops are serious. Winning one-on-ones and team drill, there was it's going to be an issue. This is the new coaching staff. We're now a year, from 2020 when he produced 750 yards in a season. And it's not been a good start for Darius Slayton so far.
No, and especially when you drop.
You mentioned
plays.
Richie James. Richie James has looked good, and specifically with Tyrod Taylor, had a really good day today.
What complicates the whole Darius Slayton, Richie James / just wide receiver depth room conversation in general is that Richie James does play a different position than Darius Slayton. Darius Slayton's an outside guy, and Richie James is a very short slot kind of gadget guy. There is actually I'm already getting my days confused between yesterday and today, but Richie James, no, I think it was yesterday that there was a play where he lined up in the backfield with the first team.
Yeah.
And he was lining up with the first team as the slot wide receiver when Wandel Robinson went out during today's practice. It looked like with some sort of back injury. He was holding onto his back. He was running on the sideline, but he did not return. That is my injury report.
Yeah, so to uncomplicate the situation, I think both will be on the roster. Richie James has the
goodbye
most
C.J. Board.
Yeah, Richie James has the most kick returner experience.
And C.J. Board was used as the kick returner, so just replace C.J. Board with Richie James, and then boom, that's the roster.
Right. So segueing, since we mentioned Richie James, Tyrod Taylor looked pretty good. You do realize that, we don't need to have the whole backup QB contract conversation again. But if the Daniel Jones does go down, they are in some capable hands with Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah.
Like he had a really nice throw to Colin Johnson on the sideline.
Best throw of the day. Keep going.
There's a couple plays that might have been sacks, but, it's hard to tell if a play ended up being a sack or not, but he would escape and make a play. He had one and I hate doing this, but like Tyler Taylor does check the ball down quickly. He had this nice check down to Matt Breida that would have been like a 30-something yard play. Like Matt Breida was on the swing route. He hit him, and bam, Breida with that freaking speed that you just love was just up the sideline. And it wasn't a touchdown because it's training camp and they don't tackle. Like, the fans will be cheering for every play near the end zone because they end up in the end zone, even though it's like in real life they're tackled.
Are you talking about that Breida play where he beat McFadden on the sideline?
Yeah, the swing pass.
It wouldn't have been. I don't think it would have been a touchdown, but I do think it would have been a big chunk, huge play because he did beat McFadden to the sideline.
Yeah, it would have been.
It wasn't just one of those things where McFadden, all right, I'm not going to push you out of bounds because I don't want you to fall. I actually think that he did beat McFadden to the sideline. So I mean, Micah McFadden, hey, little late in man coverage, but I was more excited about Matt Breida making a play on a swing pass. They were throwing those a lot. They have been throwing those a lot. And in an offense
specifically Tyrod, who gets to his checkdowns quicker than
they were throwing it a decent amount yesterday in the red zone too. They were dumping off a lot of swing passes, stuff like that too. And that kind of it makes me excited because there's a balance to everything, right? There's a balance of you don't want to be 2018 Eli where Saquon Barkley has like 94 receptions, right? But you also don't want to be Daniel Jones where you're just holding onto the ball looking for something down the field and then you're taking sacks like he did in 2019, right? There's a balance to everything. So I'm excited for an offense that may actually try to be a little bit more explosive, push the ball down the field a little bit more. I'm excited that we have some running backs that are fast. Saquon Barkley, he's a guy that can get some yards after contact, yards after the catch, stuff like that. Matt Breida, very, very fast, one of the fastest running backs in the NFL. So I'm excited for that potential. If they're going to play zone coverage against us, they're not going to man up. Or even if they do man up, if a linebacker is late, good luck. It's going to be a 10-plus yard play.
Yeah, and specifically, like I haven't been keeping – I don't call anything a touchdown unless it's caught in the end zone or right before the end zone and they're going to get in because they don't tackle. So, and the fans cheer, which fans can do whatever they want. We're fans too. But, there's plays where, they'll catch the ball at the 8-yard line and then they'll just run in even though, there would have been tackled, but the defense isn't bringing – but I really think that Matt Breida one could have went for a 6. Maybe not, but it could have went for 6.
Yeah, I agree. Speaking of running backs, I want to – have one more note about Wandel because I know he said that he got hurt. He was running on the side. Speaking of running backs, Wandel Robinson was lined up in the backfield today and took a designed carry.
I actually didn't see that, but I saw your tweet, so I put it down as a note.
Yes, he did.
They're going to use him in the backfield a good chunk.
Yeah. I don't know how often it's going to happen, but it was a play that they ran during training. I'm also
in Nebraska. That's how they truly use him.
That's also why he transferred, apparently. So
yeah, they went had 100. He went from not being used correctly to being 104 catches in the SEC.
Yeah. So I'm not falling for the I see it once in training camp. I think the Giants are going to do it. No, we'll see if they continue to do it outside of the one practice today and the practices that we're at. I saw Saquon Barkley run a wheel route in New England for one play last year, and I'm like, Jason Garrett's learned. Maybe he's learned. No. So let's but it happened, and that's what we're here to tell you what happened.
Let's do some depth chart stuff. I need to figure out if Ricky Seals-Jones is practicing because he's out there practicing, but I haven't seen him take any reps with first team, second team, third team.
He was there on Wednesday. And he was flanked out. They were using him as a tight end that's flanked out, Evan Ingram-esque. But I did not see him today. Yeah, I think they were really working Austin Allen. They were working Daniel Bellinger.
Bellinger is the number one right now, but Akins.
Andre Miller's up there too.
And Chris Myrick was getting a couple of reps with the one. So it's interesting to see how that backup, that tight end 2 and tight end 3 thing plays out. Which it truly is wide open. Like if they're like, hey, we value Chris Myrick a little more, like. Is it crazy for Chris Myrick to make the roster over Akins or Ricky Seals-Jones?
Yep.
Check out the Ricky Seals-Jones PPP on the channel right freaking now.
Ooh. Blake Martinez, second half.
Ellerson and Jihad Ward running with the ones in place of Azeez Ojulari. They like Ellerson. They're going to give Ellerson every opportunity, and that's when we talked about our edge 3, and I still got some Quincy Roche stuff I want to talk about. But I picked Quincy Roche. You picked Ellerson. But I did say – I want Ellerson to win it because he has the most ability. I feel like I'm freaking yelling now.
I think you just made an excuse as to why you had a bad take.
No, Quincy Roche is better right now. Quincy Roche is balling, by the way.
Oh, O'Shane Zimenez is getting reps over him.
Because maybe the coaching staff is brain dead.
No, I agree with that.
But I hope because Ellerson has the highest ceiling, so I hope Ellerson wins it.
That's how you're going to flip me being right.
No,
into your benefit.
We'll see.
I was right.
Well, Azeez, anyways. Quincy Roche is practicing behind O'Shane Zimenez.
Yeah, it's
and
not
even
great.
Timon Fox at times. I don't understand what the deal is with that. And he's balling, by the way. Now, the context of that is he's going up against Roy Ambatika, who's very raw to the football game. So he should be dominating him, but he is dominating him. I am blown away. If Quincy Roche is not put ahead of freaking O'Shane Zimenez and Timon Fox, and he should be ahead of Jihad Ward, I don't care how freaking much of a leader. Like Quincy Roche, if they cut him, that'll be my yearly I'm pissed off about this cut. And it's not because you guys talk about him like he's Lawrence Taylor. No, he just shouldn't be cut on this team with the way the edge depth chart is.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
And I'm freaking out right now after 2 practices, so it's not warranted to freak out about this, but I'm just saying Quincy Roche, I don't feel like should be practicing with the third team.
Talk your shit. I agree. Not with the third team. Timon Fox was an undrafted free agent, and
Nico Lelos was getting some reps over him.
Before the draft in 2020, 2021? What do you call it? Draft class. Was it Quincy Roche, 2021.
Yeah, last year's draft.
We were talking about Quincy Roche as like a day 2 guy.
Someone actually asked how Jeremiah Hall's doing. I don't think they're really using him, to be honest.
No, I don't think so. I'm very surprised to see that Andre Miller is getting those like reps that I think that Jeremiah Hall should be getting. It's also very early in camp.
Here's something. They've worked on goal line, and they're using pads, so they're not running the ball really.
Yeah.
They'll hand the ball off here and there, but they're not.
They've rarely run the ball.
So right now it's a passing camp, and then the third down, so that really the situations where he would need to be. I would wait till pads go on to see if they're going to use Jeremiah Hall or not.
Antonio Williams had a nice run today, I saw.
Cedric Smith says, can we please hear about Bareburger?
Really? You know what I really appreciate about this community and this Talking Giants versus the World community? I even saw somebody in the beginning mention Bareburger because we didn't mention them at the top. Bareburger. Thank you to
Bareburger.
Whoa.
We're the only people in this part of the warehouse, so we can yell.
Yeah, we found out that
and there's an echo, which I like.
Can I?
Bareburger.
I'm not going to give breaking John Boy media news.
Is it something we could share?
I don't know. This will eventually be turned into a podcast studio there. How about that?
Oh,
it's a part of the warehouse. Yes, it will eventually be turned into. And I would love to. I would love to come here.
Yeah, no one cares about
that. Very expensive granite table that will not be moved.
I like this table. Much better than the table we were on yesterday.
I know.
You know me. I'm a big table guy.
You are a big table guy. Bareburger. So I want to thank them for sponsoring our training camp series. They have something for everyone. Yes, even you. They're not your fathers. They're not your grandfathers. They're not your uncle's burger joint. They're kind of wacky, but I like wacky. We're kind of a wacky, weird kind of show. And Bareburger kind of wacky in what they
Wacky!
Whoa, can you stop yelling? Kind of even a little wild with some of the burgers that they offer. Elk burgers, ostrich burgers, bison burgers. They maybe not wild, but they're unconventional because they have those choices that you can get.
Choices!
And I really like that. Bareburger Kitchen and Bar. Happy hour is the best in New York City. 12 to 7 p.m. Monday to Friday. Thought you were going to yell. Friday. They have a lunch special, Bareburger Kitchen and Bar, 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. Monday to Friday. There are so many specials that they have. They have a $14.95 special, all served with fries. What I want you to do, again, thank you to Bareburger. Go check out Bareburger. Ton of locations in New York, including Brooklyn and Westfield, New Jersey. It's the closest one to me, Montclair, New Jersey. Click the link in the description to find yourself at your new favorite happy hour spot, burger, joint, and luncheon. Click the link in our description. Thanks to Bareburger Kitchen and Bar. All right.
All right. We'll take some questions here in a second. Let's finish off last notes and we'll start taking some questions.
I have some notes. Did we talk about
Aaron
Robinson?
Bam. Aaron Robinson looked good today, especially on the man. When Aaron Robinson gets put in man coverage, he looks pretty good. Right, like as simple as that.
Yes, he's been targeted a lot.
Yeah, and there's been some times where he got beat, but when
even when he gets quote unquote beat, like everybody,
he's not getting burnt.
Everybody talked about like that Tony catch yesterday, like that's over Aaron Robinson. Oh boy, like and even Art talked about in our Art Sableton interview that's coming out tomorrow. We talked about Ellerson Smith. We talked about Jihad Ward. We talked about Aaron Robinson. And even in that play, like he didn't get beat. It was just an insane throw, and then Kadarius Toney making an insane catch. So every single time, if Aaron Robinson is allowing a target. Even if he's allowing a catch, He's physical. He's right there. He's going after the ball, which that is the brand of player that we want to see Aaron Robinson be. There was even a pass breakup that I think he had over Kenny Golladay today, which I haven't seen Aaron Robinson on Kenny Golladay yet. That's actually a matchup that I'm kind of looking forward to because Aaron Robinson, even though he's listed as 6'1", I think I've researched, Rick pointed this out, he's listed as 6'1" on the Giants site. In the combine, he was like 5'11".
I hate that crap so much.
So there's a little bit of a discrepancy what the Giants are listing and then what he actually measured into the combine. So I was happy to see that he was very physical with a physical wide receiver like Kenny Golladay.
Okay. Cordell Flott had some good and some bad. He had a couple pass breakups.
There was one. Michael Jacquette had a pass breakup against David Sills today.
Yeah, that was I actually wrote that down. Michael Jacquette and Rodarius are the backup outside corners right now with Flott in the slot. Flott in the slot just sounds so good.
Flott in the slot.
Slayton drops. Golladay targeted downfield. So even though Kenny Golladay had some drops, I'm still kind of excited for Kenny Golladay because he's getting open.
Yes. I kind of want to go back. Now, this is 2 days of training camp practice, and this is what's on my – it's a back-brain thought. It's not really a front-brain thought as of right now, but I kind of want to go back and revise my over 5.5 touchdowns for Kenny Golladay because it's not that he's not going to be targeted in this offense. I really just think they have targeted the slot so much. It's been the slot and the running backs have been getting the majority of the receiving attempts. And Tony also being in there too, even though he's an outside wide receiver. It's been Tony, Robinson, running backs, and then I think Kenny Golladay. And if I had to rank targets so far this camp for like the starting offense, would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Because even Saquon Barkley flanked out as a wide receiver, which there was a formation today that had Richie James / Wandel lined up as a running back. And that was like, oh, this is fun and interesting. Look what's happening here. But then Saquon Barkley was flanked out as a wide receiver. Didn't even notice that Barkley was flanked out wide.
Yeah.
And then he's the guy that caught that slant in the middle of the field. And I'm like, oh, well, that is going to, if they do that, that is going to fuck with the defense. Like, what is this wide receiver doing in the backfield? But then you have Saquon Barkley lined up as a wide receiver.
Was that after Wandale went out?
No, it was somewhat early. It was
I was going to say, because I know
maybe they did it again. They've been doing it.
Well, no, I was asking because I know plays are scripted, and like maybe that was originally for Wandale.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's answer some questions. Research Rick says Jacquette, Rodarius, any of the corners making a play from the bubble. Yeah, Michael Jacquette made some plays.
Yeah.
I didn't
I've
notice
been
him
feeling
getting beat
bad
really either. So
I've been feeling bad that it's been tougher to follow the defense just because of the offense is literally forcing you to like watch them and see what they're doing.
And just live, and not in pads.
Yeah, not in pads.
You're watching what the offense is doing. The defense is reacting, and you don't know if they're going to be in zone or man. It's just.
I don't think Wink has been too crazy.
With the second team, I've actually I'm like, okay, I'm just going to watch Cordell Flott for a couple plays in a row. So, but with the first team, I'm just focusing on the offense. That's the reality of it.
Something I wrote down.
Who was the best wide receiver on the field? Kadarius Toney. He didn't have the biggest day today, but he looks like the best wide receiver on the field. Yeah,
I wrote down Trenton Thompson's number. I want to see what he's up to. I want to try and watch the secondary and the defense a little bit more tomorrow because so much of this the secondary's thin, and you have one guy that goes down.
Darnay Holmes has been making some nice.
He has
plays.
and he's been proving me wrong. He's been shutting me up. But I want to watch the secondary because one guy could go down, whether it is Adoree, Aaron Robinson, Darnay, and then it's going to start this domino effect of, who's going to be the ones or the one to step up in their absence. So we got to really get a little bit better of an idea of who's lining up where in the secondary with what team and stuff like that. So I'm going to be watching out for that tomorrow.
Got a couple good questions. Authentic says, between the offense and the defense, who are you more concerned about? I'll say that camp hasn't changed my opinion on really much of that I had pre-camp. So I'll still say the defense.
Yes, I agree with that.
Has there been anything from camp that really changes what you thought about this team?
Not yet.
Yeah, not yet. Frank asked a good question. Which assistant coach is the most vocal at practice? I'll say they play music. I haven't noticed any of them being vocal.
No.
Not loud. Nobody's yelling. I'll say that.
No, it's also kind of tough to hear because of the music, and there's so many people at Giants camp. I try and take pictures before the practice so you actually can see. Look at some of the pictures that I take before practice, whether it's on my personal or on the Talkin' Giants page, and Just see how many there has to be 6-7 set of bleachers, like high school size bleachers, at Giants camp. I mean, and I went to Patriots camp last year. Patriots are they're a big team, and they had the joint practices with the Giants last year, and I went. There was probably 10%, maybe around there, of the people that are at Patriots camp than there is at Giants camp every single day that it's available to the public. So, I mean, that's one of the reasons why it's also kind of tough to hear what's going on the field.
Yeah.
But Art Stapleton, if you're wondering about the dynamics of a Judge Dable practice, we're going to be talking about it with a lot of the other beat reporters too to get all of their different opinions. But Art Stapleton talks a good amount about that for tomorrow's show.
Yeah. Let's see. They did play Kadarius Toney's music. We didn't even notice.
Well, it's because
I did right in front of the media yell, "Young Joker, media, some clowns."
It's true. It's true. I'm going to admit something. I don't really know Kadarius Toney's music by the back of my hand. I should.
I don't either, but I thought I would recognize it.
I should. I really should. Feel bad. Good for Paul Schwartz for real. Like Paul Schwartz, knowing Young Joker when he hears it.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Let's see, what do we got? So we're at 30 minutes, so we'll go a few more minutes longer.
Got a good amount of people in here.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Sorry if I know these.
Yeah, this is a little laggy too. I'm gonna figure out what's wrong here.
We're gonna be doing so many of these that we don't, and we have so much other content that we're not trying to make hour-long streams. So we're aiming for 30 minutes.
Yeah, we want these to be a consumable.
Yeah, for someone who's not watching it live.
How the special teams look? Chris Peace wants to know.
They look special. That's all I know. Let's see. Was there still a lot of pre-snap? There wasn't. David asked, was there
special teams
pre-snap motion today? Do the second and 13 reps. So there was definitely pre-snap motion, but it wasn't as overwhelming.
Wasn't as wild as yesterday. No. Yeah. Adoree Jackson caught a ball on a punt
behind his back, and which is like that's.
Don't do that. Don't show me that because you can't catch an interception when it hits your hands.
Yeah, that's a frustrating thing.
Literally one-handed behind his back, and it was like 40 feet up in the air.
It's like one of the coolest things ever. And it's like,
hell?
That's cool, man, but like you drop interceptions. Like if he didn't drop interceptions, Giants fans would be like overhyping him as like a top 5 corner in the league right now.
Yeah. This is actually a good question. Wes was actually the one who pointed this out to me. He said, Jamil Douglas is backup center.
Yeah.
And he was asking me, was that for the whole day? And I said, I don't know, but I do know yesterday it was Ben Bredesen.
Today it was the whole day, and
Ben
Bredesen was with the third team.
Okay.
I mean, Jamil Douglas has been in the league for a long time, so I'm not going to talk to you about how good he is. But
I feel like we forgot. I should have when we.
Well, he didn't play last year.
Yeah, but we as a Buffalo guy, so he has those ties. When we were doing our Camp Battles episode, I now feel bad that I didn't throw his name in there into the mix. We haven't. Have we seen Max Garcia take any snaps at center?
Can I tell? I saw him do it in some warm-ups.
Okay.
I don't care who wins backup center. Can I tell you that?
You don't? Well, that's why you didn't put on the Camp Battles episode.
I just do not care who wins backup center.
Why? Do you think John Feliciano's just going to play?
Well, give me a reason why to pick somebody.
Yeah.
I have no reason to pick Ben Bredesen. Max Garcia has played a lot, so that's why I would pick Max Garcia.
Yeah.
Ben Bredesen's young. Years
of control.
Okay. Let's see. All right. Let's get one more question from Andrew Spagnolo, and then we'll get. I'm going tomorrow for the first time. How early should I get there? First, come say hi to us.
Please.
Second, what did we got in line at? Like 8:20, 8:30?
Yeah, I suggest getting there around. I suggest getting there around 8:30-ish because
I would say at least 30 minutes early.
Yeah, I mean they are doing this differently this year, where they open the gates at 9, which I actually think very much helps the control of the crowd because they let people in an hour before the practice starts. Practice starts at 10, so then even if you do get there at like 9:30, the line shouldn't be that long to get in because they've been letting people in for a half an hour at that point. So there's been some things that the Giants have done where it's smart what they're doing with this training camp.
You got to, but also if your point of view is like I just want to go watch practices and that it, I would say get there at 9:30.
Yeah, like if you're only going for one day and you want to see as much as possible, then get there early and you can pick your seat, et cetera, et cetera.
But if you're not worried about checking out the whole area, because they have they have some good amount. Like if you got, especially if you have kids.
Yeah.
If you have kids, get there early. If you're just going to just watch a practice and that's it, get there at 9:30. Even though I don't even have that on authority because the line could be insane long. I don't know, but
it does get a little long. But like I said,
you know what? Be a human, active, proactive human being who gets up early, rise and shine, take your shower, brush your teeth, walk the dog, and get there early.
I get there.
Better to be early than late. That's what I always say.
I've been getting there at 7:45 each morning, and I park in K2. And I kind of just enjoy looking at that shitty fucking stadium that I call home.
I got to drive the van this morning. That was fun.
I spin a ball on my finger. I play catch with myself. I play with myself. And then I go watch Giants practice.
All right. Well, that's a great way to end the show. Like, subscribe, all that good shit. We've always forget to ask you to do that. Podcast out tomorrow. There's some news we got to catch up on, talk about practice a little bit, and then we have a 20-minute interview with Arch Stapleton. From there. So we appreciate you guys. We'll see you when we see you. Until then, let's go Big Blue.
All right, don't say anything bad because we're still live.